Hello and welcome back to our genetics course, and we are going to continue on with our study of genetics, and today we're moving into inheritance. So we've looked at right at the beginning matching those parents up with their children based on what we could see as similarities and differences. We've looked at DNA as that molecule that is really important in transferring that information on so that our body can get the instructions to make what it needs to make us. And we've looked about the cell division that enables us to A, be conceived, and B, grow and repair our cells as we get older. So now we're really getting into the nitty gritty and the part that I love, and that's all about our parents and our inherit and how we do that. So all the features are because of two main things. The genes that you have inherited from your parents, they play an important role, obviously, without those genes, but the environment that you're raised in since conception also has just as much of an influence. So different combinations of the genes and the environment that you grow up in can change how you are. So that can be that you could have two identical twins, one that has spent time in the sun a lot and one that hasn't. And that sun damage can affect how those skin cells reproduce or repair themselves. Or it could be that you have been exposed to a lack of nutrition throughout your childhood, and that may also affect how you grow and how you develop. So we're going to have a bit of a look at that in a little bit more detail. Now, a lot of studies have been done around twins. I might get rid of that. And some of them have been done perhaps in an ethical manner, where parents have volunteered their children for anecdotal studies, just where they might talk to their kids, make note on certain things, development or whatever else. And unfortunately, there may have been some done not so ethically on children that may have been put up for adoption in orphanages or so on. But nevertheless, there have been some studies done around twins, and it's been really interesting to notice the difference between the two. So as we talked about in our previous video, during conception, genetic material comes from your mum and your dad to produce a unique human being. Now, the combination you get is random. You could be very similar or very different to your siblings, even having the same parents. And that is purely and utterly due to that meiosis, the crossing over, and what combinations of genes are combined when that egg and sperm fertilize. So here we do have a set of twins, and you can see here that they are very different from each other in terms of skin color and hair color. Why might that be? We're going to talk about some things called recessive and dominant traits, and that might provide you with a little bit more of an insight. So having a look here, we've already looked at this with our activity previously, where you had to look at the series of bases, and that each three formed a codon, and that codon produced an amino acid, which then clumped together, joined together, and made a protein, which were the instructions for your body to produce whatever it was asked to produce. So genes control that production of proteins in your cells, which control the development of your body. So your genes are responsible for making you. You have, your DNA contains the book of you. And that's why sometimes you'll share some characteristics with your parents and maybe not as many with the other. So some of these traits, and I'm going to get you to do a survey of inheritance of traits with your siblings and mum and dad. Some characteristics you have are actually controlled by just a single gene, and we call that monogenic traits. And there's some that involve multiple genes. It's not just one gene on one chromosome. It could be a number of different genes everywhere. But one of the most common ones that we tend to do in class is the rolling of the tongue. So this is a monogenic trait, just one gene, and I thought everyone in my family could do this. My husband can, I can, and my two older children can. And it was only recently where we were doing this at home, and my youngest can't. which is interesting because I thought then we would have carried that dominant trait given everyone else could, but obviously that's not to be the case. But this is one simple one. Can you roll your tongue? Can your mum and dad, brothers and sisters roll their tongue? So they are the ones that are more simply easier to follow and see through generations. So polygenic traits are a little bit more tricky because they involve multiple genes. So it's not always just a simple mum's got it, I've got it, dad's got it. It's that combination of genes. But let's have a look at the environment and how the environment can affect different people. And this comes from some of those twin studies that we've talked about. So your exposure to nutrition, even education, disease, toxins, people that have got similar genes can end up looking very different due to their environmental conditions. So like I said before, this is about twin studies, mostly due to with identical twins. So let's have a look here. And we have two men, identical twins. One of them smokes. Can you pick which one it is? And here we have another set of twins, and one suffers from depression. Can you see which one that might be? This one is weight gain, and weight gain actually adds youth. It fills out I suppose the potential wrinkles and so forth. So sometimes you see people that with a rounder face carrying a little bit more weight, their skin's plumper. So then when people lose a lot of weight, their skin seems to hang a little bit more on the body. And this one here is sun exposure. So these here again, identical twins, one has been exposed to a lot of sun, whereas one hasn't. So you can really see that those lifestyle choices you make can actually have a little bit of an impact on how you look. So that's it for today's video. I'm going to get you to do the survey of traits of your family, and we will have a meeting and we'll have a chat. Talk soon. Bye-bye.